And I'm going to talk a little bit about it again. I think that we have a lot more power over our situations than we think. If you are going somewhere and you expect it to be horrible, guess what? It's going to be horrible. If you're going somewhere and you expect it to be awesome and super fun and great, guess what? It's going to be awesome and super fun and great. That's why I think camp, reunions and church camps and senior high camps, that's why I think they're so fun. Because people go expecting to be with each other and to laugh and to swim and eat good food, well, at least a Happy Valley, right? And they just expect all these things, and they find them there. And they go expecting to be with God. And guess what? God's there. God is waiting for us. So it made me wonder what life would be like if we expected God in every single circumstance in our life, and every time, every moment of our lives. What would it be like if we expected God were there waiting for us? Like in your exams tomorrow and all next week. What would it look like in your exams if you walked into your exam expecting God to be there? God waiting for you to come. How would that change your exams? What about in the Commons? What would it be like if you expected God to be in the Commons, waiting for you, wanting to sit next to you? What would it be like if God were in choir or in basketball or at work? What would your life look like if you were expecting God to be with you around every corner? What would change for you? What would be different? And what would be the same, I guess? And this morning, I talked a little bit about when I moved to the Philippines. I moved to the Philippines in 2002 for World Service Corps. And unfortunately, I had a year-long contract with World Service Corps, but I had to leave early. The war in Iraq was getting ready to get started in March 2003. And the Filipinos were not happy with America for starting this war. And so every week when I lived in the Philippines, I would hear about an American business being bombed, an American being shot and killed, an American being kidnapped. And so finally the church said, we have to pull Carla out of the Philippines. She looks way too American, and I do. And so they called me on a Tuesday in March, and they said, the war's going to start on Monday. You have to be home on Saturday. And I was devastated. I had spent 5 months of my life learning Tagalog, their language, teaching in the school, building relationships, and it had just been ripped away. And I was so sad to leave the Philippines. So I came back to Independence, and the church said, okay, Carla, you have a year-long contract. We're giving you 4 options. 1, you can quit the contract. You don't have to fulfill the rest of your contract. 2, you can work in Independence. 3, you can move to Taiwan and work for World Service Corps in Taiwan. 4, you can move to Australia and work for World Service Corps. And I'm like, stop right there, I'm moving to Australia. They're like, don't you want to hear I don't care what I'm doing, I'm moving to Australia. So I got home in March. By July, I was on a plane flying to Sydney. And you know, those 5 months I spent in the Philippines, I learned so much about God. And I learned so much about who I am with God as my best friend. Because I didn't have any friends in the Philippines. I mean, I made friends, but God became my really good friend there. So I went to Australia knowing that God was going to be there, expecting God to be there, expecting God to greet me off the airplane and be like, okay, Carla, you ready for this? And it was the best year of my life. I started a youth group. I did Young Peacemakers. I taught Aboriginal high school students who had dropped out of high school during the day. It was kind of weird. And I went to every church camp I could. I supported 3 congregations. I was ordained near Sydney. My parents flew down, and I was ordained in Australia to a priest. And it was the coolest year of my life. And I grew so much spiritually, and my faith grew exponentially. And I realized during that year that I wanted to work for the church forever. That I wanted to be a minister forever. That's what I was called to do. I wasn't called to be a math teacher anymore. I was called to be a minister. And so when you expect that God is going to meet you there and be there with you, incredible things can happen. Amazing things can happen. Life-changing things can happen. So, I'm going to ask for your poems in just a second. I hope you're getting ready to share them. And I can't wait to hear what rhymes with snickerdoodle and prancer. So this is what I'm thinking. A new year is almost upon us, December. This year is dying away. And I think it would be awesome if you did an experiment. If you spent the first month of next year, or maybe even a week in January, or a week now, it doesn't have to be in January, expecting that God will be at everywhere you are. Expecting God is around the corner. Expecting God is waiting for you wherever you are going. And see how your life changes. See how you change. See if your faith grows or shrinks. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it will, but it might. But it's time for an experiment, okay? So I might be back next semester. I don't know if you're going to invite me back to speak again, but if I come back next semester, I might be asking you these questions. Has your life changed? What is different about you? What happens when you expect God to be with you all the time? What happens when you expect that God is with you right now, helping you write that poem, nudging you on to say, hey, maybe you should study a little bit more before that test tomorrow. Oh, thanks. So anyway, what's going to happen if we expect God to be everywhere? And I'm going to have a few closing remarks after your poems, but I would love to hear at least 1 or 2 or 3 poems that you might have written. Oh, Emily Rose. Nice and loud.
I wrote you because it's easier to have the speaker than a haiku. So the title is A Haiku for Carla.
Oh.
And it says, Carla loves Prancer, 'tis the season of joy and love, snickerdoodles young.
Well done. Well done. Beautiful. Yes.
Mine doesn't rhyme. That's okay. Mine says, love came down on one night with the help of Prancer's wife. It brought joy for you and me, but all they had to eat that night was snickerdoodle crumbs to eat.
Oh, beautiful. More poems. Yes. Emily.
Okay. I once had a dog named Prancer. He was quite the romancer. He often ate snickerdoodles and lady poodles, and they all drooled oodles and oodles. Until the day he met Joy, who was certainly no boy, and they fell in love over a chew toy.
That was beautiful. I think that would have made it into the Psalms. I do. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Christmas is the time of joy, not only because of all the toys, but also because it's full of love, for flakes of condensation up above. For Santa and his friends, Rudolph and Prancer, don't forget about Vixen, Dasher, and Dancer. So don't forget to give Santa a snickerdoodle, and on your way to bed, don't kick a poodle.
Nice! These are wonderful! One in the back. There's one in the back. Yes.
This is my friend, Melanie.
Okay.
Prancer awoke and was very in love, as he ate the snickerdoodle out of love. Then, oh boy, Santa came out and filled the world with joy.
Oh, good job, Bethany! Yes.
The holidays are here, with snowflakes falling and lights are bright. Candles are lit and families gather in love. Food is shared from ham to snickerdoodles. Santa flies high in the sky with his companions like Rudolph and Prancer. Presents are given and received anywhere from 1 day to 8 days. Joy surrounds the world everywhere.
Yay! That was really beautiful. Thank you, Tyler. You guys should take these home and put them on your mom and dad's refrigerator. That would be really nice. Anyone else want to share their psalm, poem, or limerick? Last chance. Everybody's like, should I?